Yeah. I know. I was like, what happened?
Like, dude, I was
Yeah.
like, I had the bottle ready. It was that you threw off my timing
Oh, I know.
completely. And then you
Totally
start
did.
off with like a full screen shot of me. Nobody wants that.
Yeah,
So
as you're like holding your beer.
here
So
I know, right?
yeah. Anyways, I was like, oh shit, forgot to click those. Anyways, guys, that's a good way to start
I
tonight's.
mean, honestly, with the episode we're about to discuss, why not? I
Why
mean,
not? Yeah, this a very cartoony, very interesting episode.
okay, I'm just gonna say it. I di- it was as ridiculous and as silly as I remember.
Yeah.
I but I kind of had a good time. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie. I mean, it's such a
That's what it
ridiculous episode.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're kind of going for, I guess, when it comes to this. But welcome to DC Fan-imated, everyone. I'm, of course, Dave the Film Junkie. With me, as always, Mr. Scott McClellan. Cracked open his beer, got it ready to go. I got my Wine Wednesday, so cheers.
I know. I've got like 2 bottles of wine sitting in my pantry. But the problem is that I'm not at a point that once I crack the bottle open, I'm ready to make sure that it can be consumed within a appropriate period. Like, cause like once you open a bottle of wine,
Mhm.
the clock is ticking on that bottle.
Yeah,
So
you better get rid of it in a couple of days after that.
you know, I've gone a little bit longer than a couple of
Have you?
days, and you've given me shit about that. But you know, if you stick that cork in really well, like you open it, you let it breathe, you pour yourself a glass. But I will traditionally like stick the cork immediately back in, and it's so it kind of lasts a little bit longer. But you
Yeah,
know,
you
you
could
go
buy
back,
little things that could just really like seal that thing too.
which
There's
I have. I
Yeah.
have. They're in one of my many junk drawers in my kitchen because I mean, I'm sorry, anyone who has a kitchen knows you've got at least one junk drawer.
There's
That's yeah.
always a junk there, yeah, no matter what. No matter where you go, no matter what, there's just a drawer that you just throw dead batteries into, screwdrivers, random screwdrivers,
I mean, you
screws,
you literally are naming everything in
yeah,
my junk
nails,
drawer.
nails. Yeah, there's just stuff in there that you just
It's
yeah.
like whatever when anything that it's like the MacGyver drawer. It's
Yep.
like
Yeah.
what are all the things I could possibly need in my kitchen or within a vicinity of my kitchen that's like, let me go no, let me go grab that so I don't have to go downstairs into the garage into my
And
tool chest to get
the
the
funny
things
thing
that I
about
need.
that drawer too is like no matter where you're at in the house, you could always hear somebody like open it up and sift through it because it's so loud because there's so much shit in there. You just open it and hear that
So
it's so loud.
oh, and of course, then for me, because I have small children, well, small it, I have a
Yeah,
small child,
yeah,
you know, but we've got the child locks on those drawers
of course.
with with we got the ones that actually has like the magnetic key where the magnet is what makes it you know pop loose. So you always hear that because for me, you always hear it go clunk when I put it back on the refrigerator.
Nice. That's cool. But yes, guys, we are talking about Little Big Head Man.
This
That's right.
episode is just damn silly.
It's so silly. It's
I
so
want to know
silly.
what was going on in Paul Dini's head when he wrote this episode.
Yeah, I think they just go like, "Hey, it's time for another villain team up. Who can we put together that would be very interesting?" Well, why not Myxzptlk and did I say that right?
You
Myxzptlk.
did. I'm
Okay,
so
yeah,
proud of
yeah,
you.
I remembered. I remembered.
First try. I mean,
Again,
seriously.
I think what helped me the last time was Rebecca Johnson. The
Yes.
way that she said it, like it just stuck in my head. She just said it with because she was just like perfectly said it, and I'm like, oh, it's stuck in my head. And then watching it, I was like, and of course they make a joke of his name in here, of course, too. And then of course we got Bizarro, and it's just kind of like obviously we got Tim Daly doing the Bizarro voice again, which he nailed.
It still just amazes me that that's Tim
Yeah,
Daly because
yeah.
it's almost unrecognizable as Tim Daly in this
Yeah,
episode. It's so
knocks it
crazy.
out. And I mean, yeah, it's just I didn't remember much of this episode, but as it kept rolling along. I'm like, oh yeah, little things like started coming back to me.
But
But
is
yeah,
there much to remember about
they're
the
really,
episode?
yeah, it's there's not a lot to it. It's just like, hey, let's have these two random characters that would not team up, but then let's make them team up. We've already seen them. I mean, basically, the last time we saw these two characters, Bizarro got put onto this planet. What was the planet called again?
And we never got a
We never
name.
got. Okay, yeah. So we got put on a planet to be like, hey, here's a place that you can protect, and then of course you have Crypto, with you, and just make the best of it. And then when it came to Mixie, you just kind of like he kind of I almost forgot exactly what happened. I mean, he got basically put into a place where him and his hot girlfriend were just going to
Well, no,
be
they're just back in the fifth dimension.
back in the fifth dimension. Yeah,
Right, yeah. Because I don't think we've seen Mixie since his like original episode.
hmm
Because once he killed Tipsy's himself back to the fifth dimension, the
that's
whole
right.
point was he had to stay.
Yeah. So I mean,
So
so the way that this episode starts, I mean, you. It's funny because you feel sorry for Bizarro a little bit. I don't know about you. You kind of do, because it's just like he's really he's got the sense of, I'm Superman, I have to protect, but there are no people on this planet.
I think here's the thing. I don't feel sorry for him only because he seems to be honestly enjoying himself.
True, he is. He's got that.
It's sad.
Yeah.
But it's sad in that way that it's not like I feel bad for you. It's just sad in sort of a judgmental way that you're like, oh no, you're satisfied with it. Like you feel complete. Like this is your life. Like you're cool with this day in and day out. I think that's how I would feel sad for Bizarro. But
Yeah, I mean, he's very childlike, so it's just like, as long as he keeps his imagination going, because he's got like, he's made, out of trees and rocks and stuff, has made people that he's like watching over, and he says hi to everybody. And then of course I just like how he just stands on top of the hill and just goes, he just tries to whistle, and then oops, there's a rock, it's falling down, I must save this person, and then goes snaps into action to save of course,
citizen, I must
citizen.
save citizen.
Yeah, but of course, even when he plays this role, there are still some citizens that end up still seeing they still suffer the fate of a falling rock, and just kind of just like,
Oh no, tomorrow I
I
say more
saved them. I saved
citizens.
it. It's like, I done. I mean, and then it's funny because then he goes into his own, I guess you could say, fortress
Or
of
just some
solitude,
solitude, yes.
crashes down in there, and he's got everybody like, hi, Luthor, hi, mom and dad, Lois.
Fun thing about mom and dad,
Yeah.
okay. So, because in the last episode with Bizarro, he
Mhm.
did end up at the fortress
Yes.
because that's how he knows.
Yeah.
It took me a second to remember that because I was like, how does he know about the fortress? Like, how does he? I was like, oh, wait a minute. He was at the fortress
Mhm.
in his last appearance in season 2. But because that's where he finds Crypto, his Crypto, because it was in because that was in the menagerie.
Yeah.
Uh, the A cool little wink and nod to Superman fans is that when he has his version of the statues of Jor-El and Lara holding up Krypton, that sculpture that's in the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
In his version, they're holding up this big cube looking. It's a big cube rock, which I felt was a completely intentional homage because in the comics, Bizarro World is a square planet.
Oh yeah.
And
Didn't think about.
so, right, because we talked about this previously with Bizarro, that there's various versions of Bizarro. There's the clone, there's the multi-dimensional or multiversal, the idea that there is an actual world with all of these Bizarro versions of Superman characters. And with that version, Bizarro World is just a big square planet, which was really cool when they did that on Superman and Lois. That was kind of fun. So I'm sorry, spoilers for something that's like 2 years old at this point. But
no, it's all good. Whatever.
But so when I saw his version of the Jor-El and Lara statue in his quote unquote fortress, the fact that the planet they're holding up is cubed, I was like, oh, that's
See, little Easter egg
I
in
love
this.
it. I
I
love
like
it.
it. I like it. See, I
know.
didn't even think about that. And I like how Luthor is just like, it's like it almost looks like a crystal ball for
Crystal ball on his head,
for
so
his
he's
bald head.
bald. Yes,
It's
Like
great.
I said, it's a silly ass
Silly.
episode.
Yeah, he literally sits there. I was like, how he was apparently smart enough. I mean, he made these fake people. He was smart enough to make like a block of ice, look like a bald head. And he also makes a TV. He made a TV
And a remote.
Yes, and a remote. It doesn't work, and
Reruns again.
Yeah. He's just using his imagination. And then, of course, we got Myxzptlk showing up, and he's just like, oh, my God.
This is so sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Gilbert Gottfried. We gotta love him.
Oh, yes.
May he rest in peace. That voice of his. And yeah, he's just like, he's to the point where it's like, I can't stand watching this anymore. It's so sad. And then he's just, then he starts, does he start gaslighting Bizarro so much when it comes to
funny little big-head man.
Yes, that's where we get the
title,
the episode's title, which is like, yeah, I mean, when you read the title, you go like, oh, how did they come up with this? It's like, oh, of course it's what Bizarro calls Myxzptlk. I mean, come on. It just makes sense. But then, of course, yeah, he's just gaslighting him. Like, oh, no, you think like you were here to like protect this world? No, you were placed here. And I like how he shows him like a cartoon version of.
Yes, I love the animation style that indicates this is so fake.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's so funny because it was also funny too because it has Luthor, Superman, Lois, Supergirl, and Jimmy.
Yeah, just all the characters, and then they're just like poking fun at him and making fun of him and everything like that. So naturally, that does not sit well with Bizarro. And then he's just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go to planet Earth, and I'm gonna find Superman. And of course, he flies off this world. Can't breathe. Can't breathe.
No air. And once again, I really appreciate this post-crisis inspired version where Superman and by extension Bizarro can't just fly into space.
Yes.
Because there is no air.
No air. And no, they emphasize that. And then I love how, Myxzptlk is just like going on. He's like, geez, whatever. Snap. I could just teleport us. We're good. I got you, bud. And so then, of course, he teleports them right to Earth. And then, of course, Bizarro just goes on a freaking rampage of like, where's Superman? Where's Superman? I mean, he's crashing through all kinds of things, and
department stores, trains. Yeah. I love it when Mixie's like, did you think about going there? Which right to the freaking Daily Planet.
Yeah, I mean, he literally when it comes to like the little monorail train, whatever that's happening, that's in Metropolis. I mean, it's funny too because he's standing on the track and the operator is like, oh crap, and then but luckily it doesn't just like derail. He just like hits it, and then of course he peels off the freaking roof and goes, where's Superman? So it's like, okay, well, that could have been a lot worse than it actually was. That freaking train could have ended up in the fucking river,
like everything else does.
Yeah, like everything else that falls off of these high locations. But yeah, then of course, yeah, so he's like, yeah, well, how about trying that that place right there with the planet right there, the Daily Planet. And then, so then of course we get into the Daily Planet, and Lois is talking about a certain that certain store like being terrorized by somebody who's dressed up like Superman, and of course Clark's like, what? And then all of a sudden, of course, who charges in? They're both like, that sounds like dun 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 Bizarro.
Bizarro. Yeah, I know. Did you also notice that Clark was wearing a different colored shirt?
Orange, or not orange, yellow. He had like a yellow shirt. Like
well,
a
it's kind of
mustard
funny
color.
because it's like what Bruce used to wear in like the first 2 seasons of Batman the Animated Series.
So that's interesting right there, because they always talk about, because everybody always dresses alike, because it's like, it makes
the
it
model.
easier. Yeah, the model makes it easier for the animation and everything like that. But yeah, they decided like, hey, let's put a freaking mustard color shirt on.
I feel like that had to be someone like, well, one, it's weird seeing Clark not wearing his jacket. It's not very often that you see him. Usually they save that for like when he's like burning the midnight oil and it's late at night at the office, and then you get the jacket off, the sleeves rolled up, but now he's just walking
couple
around,
buttons undone and no tie.
Yeah, the tie like
down.
hanging down. Yeah. And they decided to go ahead and go with that, but then they gave him like the Bruce Wayne yellow shirt from the first 2 seasons of Batman the Animated Series, and I was just kind of like, did someone screw up when they colored this? I don't know.
Maybe they're paying homage to Bruce Wayne. I don't know.
Who knows?
Something like that. But then of course, it's funny because obviously he's like, he goes for Lois. He's like, Lois, and then grabs her. Then it's like, okay, Clark's there. Well, how is he going to do this? And he's like, well, he's got to try to intervene, but then he gets, slapped over. And then luckily, there's a window open that Clark can fall out of. And, then it's like, all right. I mean, it's just kind of funny because, I'm surprised they didn't actually just like kind of like show that window is open, where Clark's like, okay, I got to make it to that window. As long as I could just make it out that window.
Okay. You bring that up, and that would be so cool that he would like, quote, literally flown out the window.
Yeah.
So that he could come back. But no, they just made it super convenient that when Bizarro launches him into the giant glass wall, he just happens to fly out the one pane that happens to be open. Because then at least when he fall, I like I'm falling from the height. I'm doing the shirt rip, falling from, a skyscraper. But I fall into a manhole so I can fly out another one as
yeah, too many details. They're like, the people will get it. They get it. They already know.
They're fine.
They already know. But so then of course, he shows back up, and then of course, there's a lot of action in this. Like I said, it's like there's not so much where it's like story. It's just, hey, now Superman and Bizarro.
It's just silliness. Like, okay. Yeah. And we've talked about this historically throughout the Fan-imated strain. Mm-hmm. We tend to tangent a lot on these episodes because if we just do our play-by-play, this is going to be a super short episode.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like this was going to be kind of short unless we just really find something to tangent about.
Yeah.
Because even with the action, it's just the same thing, like, over and over. It's just Superman and Bizarro beating up on each other. Like that's
what it is.
It's all it is. With Myxzptlk, just kind of like, isn't this fun, guys?
Oh yeah, he pops up and he literally just got a bucket of popcorn, just like shows up, and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and eat this as you guys are just like, fighting. And it's kind of cool. What's kind of funny though is like they end up in a museum. And with the displays, you got the caveman, and I like how he goes, sorry, or he says something.
Sorry, citizen.
Yeah, sorry, citizen. And then of course,
he smashes it over Superman's head.
He's like, I don't care. I know you're, in my head, you're actually a person, but I'm going to use you to smash over my opponent's head right there. But then we get that dinosaur again. Remember, we saw that dinosaur when it came to which episode was it?
A Little Piece of Home.
Do you think it was like that same one?
it
It could
shouldn't
be.
look like the same T-Rex.
Yeah.
I
And I'm like,
mean,
oh, but this time it's getting destroyed. I was like, oh, hey, is that the same
I
T-Rex
still
that we
want that
saw?
T-Rex to show up in the Batcave.
Yeah,
Damn
I
it!
know, right?
It's
But
like,
no,
come on.
it just gets destroyed by Superman again. But you know, it's something. And then of course, we get Mixie's girlfriend. What's her name again? I forgot what her name is.
I
I totally forgot
forgot.
too.
He says her name a couple of times in the
Yeah,
episode.
I totally forgot. We didn't. Yeah,
Hold on. You're
yeah.
gonna
Look
make
it
me
up.
like.
But of course, you know, she shows up, she just appears, and of course she's all voluptuous and redheaded, kind of
Jessica Rabbit,
Jessica
basically.
Rabbit-esque, but you know, not as boobalicious, I guess you could say, but somewhat. Somewhat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get. Oh God, trying to
See,
pronounce
it's
this.
another crazy name,
It's
right?
another crazy name.
Yeah.
Gis, 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 Tith. Oh God, I'm not even gonna.
No, not even try it. Don't even
Not
try
gonna
it.
try. I mean, this
Don't
is.
even
Hold
try
on.
it. Let's
Hold
just
on.
say
I
it's the
think. Okay,
girlfriend.
Giz Pitts, Giz Pitzlazine. Because he calls her
We'll call her
Giz.
Giz. Giz. Just
But
call her
that is
Giz.
that's what he calls her in the episode. He calls her Giz.
Just call her Giz. Just call
Yeah,
her Giz. You
Giz.
know,
Yeah. Oh,
it's
God.
like they call they call him Mixie because it's
Mick-
hard to say because obviously when there was like that moment where he introduces himself and Bizarro is like and he's like, don't hurt yourself. He just basically says, don't hurt yourself. And that was a funny
Oh,
line when Bizarro is trying his best to like, well, you mix, and he's like, don't hurt yourself. Just call him Mixie.
that is such the most condescending but
Oh,
perfect
of course.
comment to ever say. Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah. Don't hurt yourself. So of course, she shows up and then she starts going like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be doing this because there's gonna be some people in that fifth dimension that are gonna be like, you're going against the rules here, bud."
And
And they
he's
call
like,
her
screw him. Let him
Yeah.
try to do something. And then he immediately gets pulled
Boop.
back to the fifth dimension. And he's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And then we get three guys that are like he's basically in a court almost like and they're like on the like bench or whatever and
They're the triumvirate. They're the tribunal. I think
tribunal.
tribunal is what.
She
Well,
called
because technically, tribunal usually is like a judge. But once again,
yeah
meaning three.
yeah
So, words,
yeah
English,
in English.
prefixes.
But yeah, and then of course he gets like chained up, and then they basically just tell him like, hey, you cannot. Of course, all the things that she said, and they strip him of his powers, and they said he has to do a good deed to get him back.
Yeah, and otherwise he's going to spend 90 days on Earth. And of course, I love I love the fact that they dropped the bomb on him that he's going to be without his powers.
Yeah.
Like right before this happened, he's like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, they got away with that one, huh? No, but yeah, no, it's just so, and it was kind of funny too because I almost thought like one of the voices, the main voice dude, sounded like somebody, but I was like, I don't know, it probably
You know
was.
what? I didn't even, I
No,
didn't even pay attention. But now that well, 'cause once again, we got to do something to keep the stream going because this episode is going to be over really fast. I mean, guys, seriously.
it sounded familiar-esque, but I was like, I don't know if that's anybody. It just sounded familiar, but then again, they're just making a voice, so I don't think it's going to be anybody. But I was just kind of wondering, is it somebody that was already part of the cast, or they just got somebody random? I don't know. So, but does it even say? Probably
Okay. Oh, okay. I remember this actually. As I was trying to look up stuff, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini commented on this episode,
Uh-oh.
and they said that the idea of this episode was good on paper, but that it ended up being obnoxious.
That's hilarious. I love it that they go back and watch these and comment on them.
Yeah.
I mean, Nothing wrong with that.
and this is Myxzptlk's last appearance
Really? In the
ever
entire?
in the entire DC animated universe. This is
Oh,
Myxzptlk's last appearance.
until he shows up in a different form in New Adventures.
Yeah.
Which is
So
cool.
yeah, because they just never could find a
Well,
story for him.
that's
Like,
the thing. Is like if you're gonna have a story with him, it's gonna be something absolutely insane and cartoony. It just has to be. I mean, literally, like what's her name again? That
Giz.
Giz. She shows up, and I like how she shows up more like dressed up. She's trying to defend him, like, hey, like she's like the lawyer. He's got an obsession with Superman, and then they bring up the issue of Action Comics.
Yes.
She like
Yes.
has like a comic book issue of Action Comics with them on the cover, and she basically goes like, yeah, he's got an obsession. It's not his fault. He's just got almost like a sickness. She's trying to play like, oh, he's crazy about, and all this stuff like that, but obviously it doesn't work. They take the powers, they put him back on Earth, and now he
By the
can't.
way, the Tribunal, it's Corey Burton.
Corey, who's that?
Brainiac.
Oh, well, there you go. I knew that voice. There was something about that voice.
And Corey Burton, once again, we've talked about this, like, even when we go back to Brainiac's, I mean, hell, Brainiac first appeared in the first episode of the show, Last Son of Krypton Part 1. But Corey Burton is one of those, like,
that's
voiceover actors that
that's
he's
what
like,
I was thinking. I was like, okay, it's probably not somebody just, that they're just like, hey, this person's voice. I'm like, there was something familiar in that voice. I'm like, it's got to be somebody who's probably already part of the cast. So there you go.
It's Corey Burton. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Once again, who's done so much animation over the years. It's weird because we're so used to hearing him as Brainiac, which means that his voice has gone through that, that post-production process, so he can sound like a Brainiac.
Yeah.
But it was Corey Burton.
Nice. That makes sense. So yeah, he gets back on Earth, but as Bizarro and Superman continue just continue to fight with each other. But yeah, it's a little different this time because now it's like, he can't just like float around or anything like that. He can't just do his normal thing. So I mean, it's kind of cool that Myxzptlk like has to now go, oh shit, I could die. Now, like,
I like when he gets scooped up in the Tyrannosaurus Rex's mouth.
Yes,
when that thing gets
falling down, and it's now, oh my god, I am like, this is serious now. I can't just be my normal self where I could just be floating around and zap in and out of the dimensions and appear everywhere and make things appear and stuff like that. Now it's like, it's serious. So I mean, at least they created some stakes, at least when it comes to him, by taking his powers away.
Yeah, and then of course Superman and Bizarro keep on fighting. They eventually get out of the museum. They go to that power plant. The MCU shows up. Not the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
Yeah, but the Major Crimes Unit, and we get to see Maggie.
She shows up, and
I'm going to be honest with you. Maggie showed up, and I went, "Hey, where's Turpin?" Oh, fuck, that's right. I had that moment.
Oh man, may he rest in peace. Him and his big, huge eyebrows.
I mean, there's Kirby. There's Jack Kirby eyebrows. Oh my god! But I had that moment. I went, "Oh, where's Turpin?" Oh shit.
Yep. And this is where we're kind of like, I mean, we're already like, I mean, we're pretty much we're getting to
the last episode, Dave. It's what the episode is. We just
episode is because it gets to a point where like Superman gets knocked into like a power line tower.
Which, by the way, totally reminds me of one of the shorts of the Fleischer Superman, because
where he goes, where he grabs the
wires. Yes, I totally was like, this has got to be like an homage to the Fleischer shorts.
Did not even think about that. But
that's why I'm here, because I think about this shit.
Yes, but they show up with their technical.
Secure the area.
Okay, these major crime news vehicles,
Yeah.
they look a little bit like some of the stuff we were seeing from Apocalypse. Like,
Fire.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little
Probably-
bit, yeah.
Yeah, they took some liberties with that, and of course they have some good. They have some good guns.
Now, before you recover,
Me,
fire.
hero. That's a cool.
Yeah,
That also reminds me of like the Sonic Disruptor from Marvel Universe that Reed Richards builds to use against the symbiote suit.
Why bad men shoot at me?
Easy on the material, Frankenstein.
Send bad men away, little big head. Send them away.
Way!
I'd love to help you, Rocky, but power-wise, my tank is dry.
and then he starts shaking them like, oh god.
I love the sound. It sounds like a cowbell.
Yeah.
Oh, Mama, this was a bad idea.
Give him another.
Oh. See, there it is. Yes.
Yeah, right there. Yes, a little bit like that. Yeah.
I am
blast.
curious
One more
though
blast.
about I am curious though about weapons that apparently
I
are
guess
really
there's no
good
other
against
option.
Superman.
Do it.
It's like,
Yeah.
Guys,
Where'd you guys come up with that? And then you got this right here. I like that little shine. And then Superman, hey,
Hold your fire.
takes the shot.
You okay?
That thing's got a kick.
I love how simple Bizarro is that he's just like, you know what? You saved me, and then everything's okay.
Because I knew Myxzptlk tricked you. If it makes you feel better, he's
Yeah,
done it
remember
to
he
me.
said he lies
What?
like rug.
Now
He
you
lies like
believe I'm
rug.
not
I
your
know.
enemy.
That was a
I
funny
love
one.
that line.
I
Yeah.
accept your apology. And just to prove there are no hard feelings,
What this?
a peace offering.
Peaceful.
That'll keep him quiet till I can fly him home.
Kill Tipsy's him.
Then
And you better split too if you know what's good for you.
Sorry, Super. The wet blankets that run my dimension said I gotta perform a good deed before they let me back.
In other words, 3 months of community service.
Yeah.
See, okay, that
So,
was one thing I
press your
caught.
Actually, I
Mixie
have
never
something
let
more
Superman know that
constructive
they
in mind.
gave him 90 days. So how did he just automatically
That's very
know?
true.
How did he automatically know it was 3 months? Like
Yeah,
that was the
it
one
was
little
kind of
Gypsy's ends.
convenient
It's
for this
good
little
to be
ending right here.
World am safe.
World
Me
am
see
safe.
no trouble. Me say, me see no,
no trouble.
I heard you the first time. Okay, let her rip.
Jeez.
I would love to see the recording sessions with Tim Daly and Gilbert Gottfried on this
But it
episode.
would be kind of
You
interesting.
big jerk. 3 months of this? I don't think so. I quit.
You've got to imagine they were in the booth
Oh.
together, and this would have been
Hopefully.
so entertaining.
Yeah.
Nice doggy. Heel. Lay dead. Help.
life am good.
Live band.
Damn good.
Oh, that's funny. All right.
It's a silly little
Silly episode. It's enjoyable. It's fun.
You
It's
know
just one of those. I mean, when you have when you have Mixie in there, it's not going to be a serious episode, just like the last one. Yeah.
Now you just got what you just. And I think this is the beauty of me going back and rewatching it. It's because I knew what this episode was going to be.
Yeah.
You just kind of sit back and go, entertain me.
Yeah.
just-
I mean, I didn't have many notes. I was like a couple little beats of like things.
I
Other
took
than that,
no
like,
notes whatsoever. I just was like, no.
I wrote a couple. I wrote some things, and then it was funny because then I was like, I started writing like, oh yeah, Sawyer shows up, and but then I was like, wait a minute, and then I looked at the time. I'm like, there's like 4 minutes left. We're already at like the end of this thing. I'm
no.
like, yeah,
I think that's okay. I think to the episode's credit, it moves fast.
it does.
It
does.
does not overstay its welcome with how silly of an episode it is.
Yeah, nah, it's fine. It's fine. And like I said, rest in peace, Gilbert Godfrey. We love to hear his voice. And yeah, apparently this is the last time we see him in this universe.
Yeah.
Crazy. But there you go, guys. Simple little episode. What do we got next week?
Okay, that was a question I wanted to ask you for purposes of programming. So next Wednesday is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. You cool with doing a Wednesday night episode? Because I'm cool with doing a Wednesday night
So am
episode.
I. I'm actually off on Wednesday. I'm, of course, going to my mom's on Thursday. I have no qualms with it. If you're good, let's do
I'm
it.
good because I'm
Okay.
staying in town. I have to work the day before the Thanksgiving anyway. So yeah, cool.
All right, let's do it. Let's do an episode next Wednesday then.
All right. Well, the next Wednesday we are watching Absolute Power.
Absolute Power.
I did not know when I exited out of Max after watching Little Big Head Man. It popped up with the description, so I was like, "Oh, that episode!" But no, I didn't remember it off the title myself. So
okay, I'm gonna look at the thumbnail at least. It's probably not gonna help me, but we'll see. Hold on, I'm just pulling up on my phone. Oh, Absolute Power. What does it look like? Wait, what? Oh yeah, there it is. No, it doesn't show shit.
yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay, never mind. I saw a name in the description.
You saw the description, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's somebody shows back up. And somebody who's been there before. They might be, pretty challenging to Superman.
Yeah, I remember how this episode ends. So that's gonna be cool to talk about.
Yeah, I can't even really remember it too much, but I don't know. Should be interesting. But we've had some silly things, the last one was a good episode. I thought it was a decent episode. You didn't like it as much, but
I didn't like it as much. But next week does wrap up our month-long stretch of Superman episodes.
4 episodes of Superman, then we head back to Gotham, right?
We do head back to Gotham. So, we start off December in Gotham. And guys, and in December, we finish off Batman the Animated Series.
It's crazy.
I know.
Crazy to think about, man.
Yeah, we're starting 2025 done with Batman the Animated Series, and that's when Batman Beyond is going to begin. So,
there you go. All right, guys. Absolute Power next week. Like I said, we'll be here, day before Thanksgiving, and we should have some fun with that one. I'm curious, now that I know who's going to be showing back up, on what's going to be happening with that episode and what I remember. So we appreciate you guys spending some time with this very cartoony, but
fun. It's silly. It's fun.
It's fun. It's whatever.
It's whatever.
Yeah. So, all right, go ahead and plug away with everything. What you got, Scott?
Okay. Well, of course, wherever your podcast can be found, make sure that you're subscribed to DCTV Squadcast over there at Squadcast Media. We just published last Friday our double-sized finale edition of The Penguin. We ended up talking about Top Hat and A Great or Little Thing in the same episode. So it ended up being like about an hour and 45-minute episode of DCTV Squad. Yeah, combining those two. So please, if you've been listening or if you were waiting till The Penguin was over, go check out all those episodes. Probably at no earlier than next week, because we took this week off. Ray is catching up on season 3 of Superman and Lois and catching up to the current. So up to this point, the first 8 episodes of season 4 of Superman and Lois. And maybe we record next week. Maybe it's the week after that. He's got to let me know. But we are going to have a massive Superman and Lois catch-up episode where Ray gets to give his thoughts on season 3, and then we catch up talking about whatever point we are at season 4 whenever we record the episode. But now that we're done with the Penguin, now it's all going to be about Superman and Lois until that show ends. Jeez. So make sure that you are subscribed wherever you get your podcast, or of course you can find every episode at squadcastmedia.com. You can follow me on Twitter X, ScottDC27, on Instagram at McMurlin, and on Vero at Scott McClellan.
There you go. All right, guys. We love you. Smash that like, thumbs up. We'll see you next week talking about absolute power. And see you on Friday for the vodka stream, which we got lots to talk about when it comes to the panel and everything like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We will talk to you later.